It was last Tuesday, raining as usual in Portland, Oregon. The kind of rain that sneaks into your bones, makes you feel like you'll never be warm again. I was folding my mom's clothes, what I call her sick day clothes. Oversized cardigans, thermal socks, that hideous fleece pajama set she loves. The house smelled like menthol rub and microwaved oatmeal, a mix that clung to the air like damp laundry. I was halfway through pairing socks when I heard her call from the bedroom. That hoarse, needy voice she uses when she wants something. "Emma, honey, can you grab the gray blanket? The one with the soft edge. My feet are freezing." I paused, holding a sock, its mate nowhere in sight. "You already have 3 blankets, Mom," I said, loud enough for her to hear. Silence. She didn't answer, just let the quiet stretch out, heavy, like she was waiting for me to feel bad. She's good at that, my mom, Nancy Carter. Always has been. I dropped the sock into the basket. "I'm coming," I muttered under my breath. "My name's Emma Carter. I'm 33, and for the past 5 years, I've been taking care of my mom full-time. No job, no weekends away, no dating. Just sponge baths, pill schedules, and a constant, gnawing guilt that I'm never doing enough. I left my life in Seattle, me friends, my apartment, my half-started career to move back into our old house in Portland's suburbs. Mom said she couldn't manage alone, not with her condition. Doctors called it chronic fatigue, maybe fibromyalgia, maybe something worse. She called it her prison. I called it my life now." I grabbed the gray blanket from the linen closet, its soft edge frayed from years of use. Her bedroom was dim, curtains drawn tight, the only light coming from the TV flickering some daytime talk show. She was propped up on the bed, pillows stacked like a queen's throne, one hand clutching the remote, the other wrapped around a mug of chamomile tea. She looked at me with that practiced fragility, her voice soft as a whisper. "You're such a good girl, Emma. You know that." I didn't answer, just tucked the blanket around her legs, careful not to jostle her. She sighed, content. "I don't know what I'd do without you." I forced a smile, lips tight. "You'd figure it out, Mom." She giggled, then winced, like laughing hurt her. "Oh, don't make me laugh, honey. It aches." I stood there a moment, watching her sip her tea. Her nails caught I painted a glossy coral, no chips, perfect. "When did you get your nails done?" I asked, keeping my tone light. She blinked, caught off guard. "What?" "Your nails. They look fresh." "Oh," she said, glancing at her hand like she'd forgotten it was there. "Sophie stopped by last week. Did them while you were at the pharmacy." Sophie, my sister, hadn't been to Portland in months. She lives in Los Angeles, always too busy with her influencer gigs to visit. I nodded, said nothing, and turned to leave. But as I passed the coat rack by the front door, something slipped off the hook. One of Mom's coats, a beige cardigan she never wore. I bent to pick it up, and my fingers brushed something stiff in the pocket. An envelope. Thick, heavy, sealed shut. Black ink scrawled across the front. Private. Do not open. My heart kicked up a notch. I shouldn't open it. I knew that. But my hands moved anyway, tearing the flap. Inside were receipts, dozens of them, folded tight. I pulled one out. Blossom Yoga Studio, downtown Portland, dated 3 months ago. Another from a boutique on Hawthorne Street, $120 for a silk scarf. A coffee shop receipt from Stumptown Roasters, time-stamped last month. My hands started to shake. Mom hadn't left the house in years, not without me, not without her wheelchair. That's what she told everyone, her doctors, her friends, my sisters, me. She couldn't walk more than a few steps without collapsing, she said. I'd been pushing her to appointments, lifting her into bed, bathing her when she claimed she was too weak. I stared at the receipts, my pulse loud in my ears. These weren't old. They were recent, some from just weeks ago. I stuffed the envelope back into the coat pocket, my fingers clumsy, and hung it up. The house was quiet except for the low hum of the TV. I stood there, frozen, trying to make sense of it. She couldn't have gone to those places. She couldn't have. But the receipts didn't lie. My mom, the woman I'd given up everything for, was hiding something. And I was going to find out what. That night, I didn't sleep. The receipts sat on the kitchen table, spread out like a puzzle I couldn't solve. Each one was a splinter under my skin. A $45 charge from Blossom Yoga Studio. A $12 latte from Stumptown Roasters. A $75 pair of sneakers from a shop on Belmont Avenue. All dated within the last 6 months, some as recent as 2 weeks ago. My mom, Nancy Carter, hadn't left this Portland house without me in years. Or so she said. I kept staring, willing the dates to change, but they didn't. From the next room, I heard her humming an old Madonna song, her voice clear, strong. Too strong for a woman who claimed she couldn't lift a spoon some days. My phone buzzed, snapping me out of it. A group chat with my sisters, Sophie and Olivia. Sophie's message popped up first. Hey, I booked a spa day for us this weekend to celebrate Mom's birthday at the Allison Inn. Emma, you in? I'm so excited to see everyone. Olivia chimed in. I'll bring wine and Mom's old photo albums. Let's make it special. She deserves it. My stomach twisted. They hadn't been here in months. Sophie was off in Los Angeles, posting bikini selfies. Olivia was buried in her tech job in Seattle, always swamped. They didn't see Mom's daily guilt trips, the way she'd whisper, "You'll get it when you're a mom," or "I just don't want to die alone." I typed back, "Sounds good. I'll do the slideshow." I pushed the receipts aside and started cleaning, anything to keep my hands busy. In the hall closet, I found an old wallet of Mom's, tucked behind a stack of towels. Inside was a smoothie loyalty card from a place on Alberta Street, 8 stamps out of 10. A transit pass for Portland's Max train, swiped last month. My chest tightened. She couldn't have done this. Not without me noticing. I grabbed her laptop from the living room, heart pounding. It was password protected, but I knew her too well. Third try. Angel Emma 33. The screen unlocked. I searched everything: photos, emails, browser history. Nothing unusual, just recipe blogs and Netflix. But something gnawed at me, a feeling I couldn't shake. I kept digging. That night, while Mom slept, I crept into her room. Her breathing was steady, deep, not the shallow wheeze she faked sometimes. I moved her dresser, quiet as I could, wincing at every creak. Behind a pile of old magazines, I found a shoebox, dusty and taped shut. Inside, tucked in a faded ballet slipper, was a flash drive. My fingers trembled as I slipped it into my pocket and tiptoed back to my room. I plugged the drive into my laptop. The screen lit up with folders. Morning, stretching, dance class. I clicked the first video. There was Mom in yoga pants doing sun salutations in our living room. The timestamp read 6 months ago. My breath caught. I clicked another. She was jogging along the Willamette River, ponytail bouncing, no wheelchair in sight. Another showed her at Rhythm Dance Academy, salsa dancing, spinning with a grin. I covered my mouth, afraid I'd scream. Every clip was a lie, a betrayal. She wasn't sick. She never had been. I watched until dawn, the laptop's glow burning my eyes. My phone buzzed again, another message from Sophie. Emma, can you add that photo of Mom with the get well balloon? It's so sweet. I stared at the screen, my hands shaking. Sweet. That's what everyone thought of her. The brave, fragile Nancy Carter, fighting her mystery illness. But I knew the truth now. And I wasn't going to let her keep it buried. I opened my slideshow software and started dragging in files. Not just the family photos Sophie wanted. Something else. Something that would make everyone see what I saw. The videos played on a loop in my head, each frame a fresh wound. My mom, Nancy Carter, doing sun salutations in our Portland living room, her movements smooth, deliberate. Jogging along the Willamette River, her face flushed with life. Spinning in a salsa class at Rhythm Dance Academy, laughing like she hadn't a care in the world. Timestamp after timestamp 6 months ago, 3 months, last month. I watched for hours, my laptop screen a cruel mirror. Every smile felt like a knife twisting in my back. I'd given up 5 years for her me-20s, my dreams, my freedom. And she'd been dancing while I scrubbed her dishes. Morning came, gray and heavy with rain. I made her breakfast oatmeal, toast, chamomile tea, same as always. She smiled when I set the tray on her bed, her coral nails catching the light. "You're a blessing, Emma," she said, squeezing my hand. I forced a smile. I know. She didn't notice the edge in my voice, or maybe she didn't care. While she ate, I started cleaning her closet, pretending to organize. She was napping or faking it. I couldn't tell anymore. I found more evidence in a forgotten purse, a receipt from a flower shop on Division Street, a loyalty card for a smoothie place, half-punched. My hands shook as I stuffed them back. That afternoon, she woke up whining about her knees. "We need to call Rachel," she said, voice frail. "It's time to finalize the will." I said nothing, just nodded, my mind racing. Rachel Coleman, her lawyer, had been in and out of our lives for years, always with papers and promises. I didn't trust her, not anymore. As I left the room, something slipped from the mail slowed a plain envelope, no return address. I tore it open. Inside, a handwritten note. "We saw her walking. You're not crazy." I stepped outside, scanning the quiet Portland street. No one, just wet pavement and the hum of distant traffic. I tucked the note in my pocket and went back inside, smiling at Mom like nothing had changed. But everything had. I couldn't let it go. That night, I opened my laptop and started building the slideshow for her birthday party. Sophie and Olivia wanted something sentimental, a tribute to Mom's strength. I'd give them that and more. I dragged in old photos, Mom holding me as a baby, the 3 of us at Cannon Beach, her in a hospital bed with a dramatic grimace. Then I added the videos. Mom jogging, waving to someone off-screen. Mom stretching in yoga pants, her form perfect. Mom dancing, her laughter echoing. I synced it to music soft piano at first, building to something sharp, undeniable. The truth was coming, and I'd make sure everyone saw it. My phone buzzed. A text from Liam Parker, my old high school boyfriend. We'd reconnected at a caregiver support group in Portland, bonding over our shared exhaustion, with his dad, me with Mom. "You okay?" he asked. I stared at the screen, fingers hovering. I found videos I typed. "She's faking it. All of it. And she's cutting me out of the will." His reply came fast. "Jesus, Emma, what are you gonna do?" I looked at the slideshow, the cursor blinking over a clip of Mom spinning in a dance studio. "I'm gonna show everyone." He called me then, his voice low, careful. "You sure? This'll blow up everything." I swallowed hard. "Good. It's her party, Liam. A big celebration of her recovery." Sophie's idea. I'm just giving them what they want. He was quiet for a moment. "Just be careful. When you burn down the house, you don't get to sleep in it." I hung up, my chest tight. He was right, but I didn't care. I added one last clip to the slideshow, Mom laughing in a mirror, adjusting her leggings, saying if Emma finds out, she'll lose it. I hit save. The truth didn't need to be shouted. It just needed to be seen. The next day, I kept digging like a dog chasing a buried bone. My mom, Nancy Carter, had built a house of lies, and I was tearing it down, brick by brick. While she napped or pretended to in her Portland bedroom, I slipped back into her closet. The air smelled of lavender and mothballs, heavy with secrets. Behind a pile of scarves, I found it, another flash drive, tucked inside a satin ballet slipper, its pink fabric faded. My heart thudded as I palmed it, checking over my shoulder. Her snores rattled through the wall, real or fake, I couldn't tell anymore. In my room, I plugged the drive into my laptop. More folders. Workouts. Garden. Walks. I clicked one. There was Mom, in our garage, lifting dumbbells, her face focused, sweat on her brow. Timestamp: 2 weeks ago, the same day she told me she couldn't hold a fork. Another video showed her pruning roses in our backyard, humming softly. She'd said she was allergic to pollen. Another had her walking a neighbor's golden retriever down our quiet Portland street, laughing as it tugged the leash. I slammed the laptop shut, my breath shallow. She wasn't just faking. She was living a whole other life. My phone lit UPA video call from Sophie, my sister in Los Angeles. She was poolside, big sunglasses perched on her nose, a drink in hand. "Hey, Emma, just checking on the slideshow for Mom's party," she said, her voice bright. "I sent you, like, 20 photos. Got 'em." I angled my laptop screen away. "Yeah, got 'em." She grinned. "Awesome. Start with that shot of Mom in the hospital gown, super emotional. Oh, and add the one with the get well balloon. It's a tear-jerker." I nodded, my face a mask. "It'll be in there." She giggled. "You're the best." Olivia's bringing her assistant to handle logistics. Can you believe it? An assistant for a birthday party. She hung up before I could reply. I dragged a new file into the slideshow. Mom doing downward dog in our living room, timestamped 2 months ago, the day she'd cried about her pain. Liam Parker showed up that afternoon, 2 coffees in hand, his face serious. "You sure about this, Emma?" he asked, leaning on the kitchen counter. I took a sip, the warmth steadying me. "It's too late to back out." He studied me, his eyes searching. "This is gonna blow up your family. You know that, right?" I met his gaze. "Good." He sighed, setting his coffee down. "You don't look angry anymore." "That's what scares me." I shrugged. "I'm not angry. I'm ready." Liam nodded slowly. "You need backups. Just in case." I'd already copied the videos to 2 flash drives. One was in a plastic bag, buried in the freezer behind frozen peas. The other was taped inside my car's glove compartment. "Freezer's smart," he said, almost smiling. "No one checks the freezer." That night, I sat at the kitchen table, the house silent except for the hum of the fridge. I wrote a note, my handwriting shaky but clear. "If anything happens to me, this is the truth. I'm not crazy. I'm not cruel. I'm just tired of being used." I folded it and slipped it into the freezer bag with the flash drive, sealing it tight. My phone buzzed another text from Sophie. "Can't wait for the party. Make Mom cry, okay?" I stared at the screen, my jaw tight. Oh, I'd make them all cry. But not the way she thought. I opened the slideshow again, tweaking transitions, sharpening the audio. The videos were crystal clear: Mom running, dancing, living. No one could call it fake. I saved the file and leaned back, the weight of it all pressing on my chest. The party was 3 days away, and I wasn't just lighting a match. I was building a bonfire. The morning before the party, my mom, Nancy Carter, was already playing her part. She sat at the kitchen table in our Portland home, makeup flawless, hair curled like she was about to host a talk show. Her robe was tied tight, but she looked vibrant, not frail. "Tomorrow's a big day, Emma," she said, sipping tea with a smile. I poured myself coffee, my hands steady despite the storm inside. "Right." She tilted her head. "I hope you picked good photos for the slideshow. Nothing too embarrassing." I took a sip, the bitterness grounding me. "People will be surprised." She grinned, all teeth. "Good. I love a surprise." I sat across from her, the flash drive in my hoodie pocket pressing against my thigh. "You know what I've been thinking?" I said, my voice calm. "I missed my college graduation because you had the flu." Her smile didn't falter. She waved a hand, dismissive. "Oh, Emma, don't be dramatic. You were going to skip it anyway." My grip tightened on the mug. "No, I wasn't." She tilted her head, eyes narrowing. "Does it matter? You couldn't find a job after, right? So you stayed home to take care of me?" Her voice softened, dripping with gratitude. "I'll always be thankful for that." I stood, the chair scraping the floor. You're not. Her mouth opened, but I walked out before she could speak. In my room, I opened the slideshow one last time. The final slide was simple, white text on black. The truth doesn't need to be shouted. Just seeing it is enough. I hit save, my heart pounding. I tested the file on my laptop, watching the clips flicker. Mom jogging, dancing, laughing. It was perfect, undeniable. I dressed in black, not for a party, but for something else. A funeral, maybe, for the daughter I used to be. I drove to Ava Thompson's house, a neighbor a few blocks away. She opened the door in a paint-splattered sweater, coffee in hand. "Morning, Emma," she said, squinting. "You okay?" I shook my head. "Not really. Can we talk?" She let me in, her living room smelling of cedar and old books. A half-finished painting leaned against the wall, all reds and yellows. I sat on her couch, clutching my coffee. "Have you seen my mom around lately?" Ava nodded slowly. "Yeah, a few times. 6 months ago, she was walking a golden retriever. Think it's the miller's dog. Then a few weeks back, I saw her jogging near the park. She looked fine, Emma. Healthy." I exhaled, the weight of her words settling. "She's been faking it. For years. Made me bathe her, said she couldn't stand without help." Ava's face tightened. "That's messed up." I told her about the videos, yoga, salsa, all of it. She shook her head. I always thought something was off. She'd wave, then duck inside like she didn't want to be seen. I left Ava's with a strange calm, like I'd handed part of the truth to someone else. Back home, I checked the flash drive's freezer, glove compartment, all safe. The party was tomorrow, and I wasn't just going to show the world Nancy Carter's lies. I was going to make sure they burned into everyone's eyes. I looked at myself in the mirror, my face hard, unfamiliar. "You're not the good daughter anymore," I whispered. And for the first time, that felt okay. The party was at a fancy event space in downtown Portland, all vaulted ceilings and white linens, the kind of place that felt more like a wedding than a birthday bash for a woman who'd been faking sick for years. I pushed my mom, Nancy Carter, through the doors in her wheelchair, her pale lavender dress catching the light. Her makeup was perfect, her smile delicate, like she was some tragic queen. Guests swarmed, Herald neighbors, church friends, book club ladies who hadn't seen her in ages. They hugged her, whispered how inspiring she was. I kept my face neutral, my hands tight on the wheelchair grips. Sophie rushed over, her heels sparkling, her jumpsuit probably worth my car. "Oh my God, you both look amazing," she said, kissing Mom's cheek. "Mom, you're glowing." Nancy smiled, soft and sweet. "That's love, honey." I feel so supported. I bit the inside of my cheek. Olivia was next, clipboard in hand, directing servers like she was running a tech conference. Her wife, Claire, hovered by the bar, sipping something dark, looking like she'd rather be anywhere else. "Emma," Olivia said, glancing at me. "You got the laptop?" I held up my bag. "Right here." She nodded. "We'll start the slideshow after Sophie's speech. Don't be late setting it up." I forced a smile. Not a chance. The room filled fast, laughter and clinking glasses drowning out the string quartet by the entrance. I set up in the back, plugging my laptop into the projector, double-checking the files. Every video was their mom running, dancing, living her lie. The music was cued, the transitions sharp. Liam slipped in through a side door, leaning against the wall, arms crossed. He gave me a nod, steady, like he knew what was coming. I nodded back, my stomach a knot of nerves and resolve. Sophie grabbed the mic, her glass raised, her voice bright. "Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to celebrate the strongest, most inspiring woman we know, our mom, Nancy Carter." The room erupted in applause, warm and oblivious. She's been through so much, but here she is, smiling, showing us what grace looks like. Before we eat, we've got a little tribute, a walk down memory lane. She turned to me, beaming. Emma put this together. Let's give her a hand. Claps echoed. I smiled, wide and fake, and hit play. The screen glowed. Gentle piano notes filled the air, old photos fading in, Mom holding me as a baby, the three of us at Cannon Beach, birthday cakes and sunburns. The crowd cooed, laughed softly. Then the music shifted, slowing, darkening. A video flickered on, Mom walking a golden retriever down our Portland street, yoga pants snug, sunglasses perched on her nose. Gasps rippled through the room. Another clip her jogging along the Willamette, waving to someone off-screen. Then the living room, Mom in a perfect downward dog. The salsa class, her spinning, laughing. A glass shattered somewhere near the tables. The music stopped. The final clip played. Mom in a mirror, adjusting her leggings, her voice clear. If Emma saw this, she'd flip out. But what else could I do? I didn't ask her to give up her life. She laughed, cold and sharp. The screen went black, white text fading in. The truth doesn't need to be shouted. Just seeing it is enough. Silence choked the room. I turned to Mom. Her face was pale, frozen, her eyes blinking fast. She opened her mouth, then closed it. A scream cut through Sophie, rushing to her. Mom, Mom. Olivia grabbed my arm, her nails digging in. What the hell, Emma? I pulled away. She lied. For years. I took care of her every day while she was out dancing. Mom groaned, one eye fluttering open, dramatic as ever. Sophie was sobbing, fanning her. Liam stepped forward. She's fine, he said, voice low. Mom sat up slowly, blinking like she'd just woken from a dream. That's old footage, she stammered. I'm trying to be strong for Emma. Olivia's jaw dropped. You said you couldn't walk. Mom's eyes darted. It's therapy. Mental strength. My doctor said to stay active. Sophie's voice shook. You lied to us. Mom snapped, I'm not lying. I survived. I stepped forward, my voice steady. I gave up 5 years, Mom. While you were doing Zumba. Her eyes widened. I had to keep you close, Emma. You were drifting. I shook my head. No. You needed control. The room was a storm of voices, overlapping, sharp, like glass breaking over and over. Guests whispered, some slipping out the doors of the Portland event space, others staring like they'd stumbled into a reality show. My mom, Nancy Carter, sat in her wheelchair, tears streaking her perfect makeup, still insisting she'd done it all for strength. Sophie's face was a mess of mascara, her voice cracking. You made me feel guilty for not visiting, Mom. Olivia, clutching her phone, snapped, You had me pay $3,000 for a nurse you didn't need. I stood still, my words heavy but clear. I gave up 5 years of my life. And you were out there doing Zumba. Nancy's eyes locked on mine, wide, desperate. I had to keep you close, Emma. You're drifting away. I need you. I shook my head, stepping back. No, Mom. You need control. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. Olivia turned to Rachel Coleman, the lawyer, who just slipped in and stood by the door, her face unreadable. Did you know about this? Olivia demanded. Rachel's voice was flat. I can't comment on client matters. Sophie threw her hands up, shouting, This is insane. The room exploded again, voices piling on, accusations flying. Claire, Olivia's wife, pulled me aside, her drink still in hand. I always thought something was off, she said quietly. She's too dramatic. I nodded, my throat tight. You were right. She looked at me, her eyes soft. You okay? I didn't know. I didn't answer. I stepped outside, the cool Portland air hitting my face like a slap. Liam followed, his footsteps steady behind me. It's done, he said, leaning against the brick wall. I crossed my arms, staring at the streetlights. Yeah, he nodded toward the venue. They'll never see her the same way. I swallowed hard. I didn't want that. He looked at me, his voice low. You ready for what's next? I took a breath, the weight of it all pressing down. No, but I walked away from the venue, not looking back. Guests spilled out, their faces shocked, their whispers trailing like smoke. Some avoided my eyes, others stared like I'd betrayed a saint. I didn't care. Liam stayed beside me, silent, a steady presence I didn't have to explain myself to. That night, I sat on my bed in our Portland house, the flash drive plugged into my laptop. I didn't watch the videos again, I couldn't. My phone buzzed, a text from Liam with a link. Check this. I clicked it. The slideshow video, the one I'd played, was online. Public. 3,000 views and climbing. I called him, my voice shaking. Did you post it? He was calm. Not me. Someone at the party, maybe. Or they shared it. My stomach sank. It's everywhere now. Notifications flooded my phone messages, tags, strangers calling it a caregiver scam, demanding Mom face jail. I turned it off, tossing it onto the bed. The next morning, the doorbell rang. I opened it to a reporter, microphone in hand, a news van parked on our quiet street. Emma, any comment on your mother's condition? I shut the door, my pulse racing. Minutes later, another knock. This time, Rachel Coleman. Her eyes were red, her hair pulled back tight. I need to see your mom, she said, voice clipped. I blocked the doorway. She's not taking visitors. Rachel pushed past me. I'm her lawyer. This is different. I followed her to Mom's room. Nancy was on the bed, robe wrapped tight, eyes swollen. Rachel, she whispered, I didn't expect this. Rachel's voice was ice. There's an investigation, Nancy. Elder fraud, financial abuse. I could lose my license. Mom's lips trembled. I never wanted it to go this far. I leaned against the doorframe, silent. The truth was out, and it wasn't mine to carry anymore. Rachel Coleman stood in my mom's bedroom, her voice sharp, cutting through the stale air of our Portland home. You told me you were sick, Nancy, she hissed, her hands clenched. You made me sign those papers. You made me lie. My mom, Nancy Carter, sat on the bed, her robe pulled tight, eyes swollen from crying. I just wanted someone to stay, she whispered, her voice breaking. Rachel turned to me, her face hard. She's going to be questioned, Emma. So might you. I met her gaze, unflinching. I've got nothing to hide. Rachel didn't reply. She stormed out, the front door slamming behind her. Mom looked at me, her face crumbling. They're painting me as a monster. I leaned against the doorframe, my voice steady. You made yourself a monster. Her lips trembled. I was scared, Emma. Scared of losing you. I shook my head. You're selfish. She wiped her eyes, her coral nails smudged now. I left you the house in my will. You should know that. I didn't move. But there are conditions, she added, her voice low. You'll see soon enough. I turned and walked out, her words hanging like damp fog. That night Olivia called, her voice calm but heavy. I filed a complaint, she said. Against Mom, against Rachel, for manipulation and psychological abuse. I sat on my bed, the flash drive still plugged into my laptop. Now you believe me? I asked. She sighed. I watched all the videos, Emma. Everyone. Silence stretched between us. I'm sorry, she said finally. I don't know what else to say. I nodded, though she couldn't see. Thanks. After we hung up, I moved to Liam's apartment in Portland's Pearl District, my suitcase light, but my heart heavy. I couldn't stay in that house anymore. The next morning, a letter arrived, hand-delivered to me at Liam's. I opened it, my hands steady. Inside, a single note in Mom's handwriting. You may have the house, but you'll never forget what you had to do to get it. I folded it and tucked it into a drawer with the flash drive. Outside, a news van lingered on the street, the third day they'd parked there. I pulled the curtains shut, the world too loud, too close. The story didn't fade. It exploded online headlines screaming, Daughter exposes mom's fake illness at birthday bash, and Portland caregiver's revenge goes viral. Some called me brave, others cruel. Mom held a press conference outside the community center, back in her wheelchair, flanked by lawyers and a box of tissues. Her pale pink sweater and teary eyes were pure theater. "I never meant to deceive anyone," she said, voice trembling. "My daughter's hurting. She misunderstood." I watched on my phone at Liam's, perched on his couch. "She's doubling down," I said. Liam paced. "She's trying to ruin you." I shook my head. "She already did." Hours later, Rachel's name trended online. Leaked emails, screenshots proof she'd known about mom's lies, helped fake medical records, and altered the will. By evening, Rachel was on live TV, her face tight. "I was deceived," she said. "I trusted my client." "I regret that trust." Liam handed me a beer, his voice dry. "Now, they're tearing each other apart." I took a sip, the cold biting my throat. Good. I drove to the house one last time, parking across the street. It looked smaller, tired, the rose bushes in the backyard still blooming despite everything. I didn't go inside. I walked to the garden, the air thick with damp earth. Those roses Mom had trimmed them secretly while I thought she couldn't stand. I snapped a photo with my phone, the petals sharp against the gray sky. Then I left, the house fading in my rearview. At Liam's, he handed me another envelope. "This came for you." It was the official will, with a note from Mom. "You win, but you've always been the kind of girl who needs an audience." Liam read it over my shoulder. "She still thinks it's about attention." I nodded. "She doesn't get it." He paused. "You keeping the house?" I shook my head. "Sell it." The house sold in 9 days for $450,000. A young couple, both teachers, bought it, charmed by the rose bushes and the quiet Portland street. I met them at the title office, handing over the keys without stepping inside. I didn't need to walk those halls again, didn't need to feel the weight of every lie soaked into the walls. Liam waited in his car, engine idling. I slid into the passenger seat, the signed papers in my bag. He handed me a bottle of water, saying nothing. We drove back to his apartment in the Pearl District, the silence between us soft, easy, like a deep breath after years of holding it in. At his place, I tossed the envelope with the check onto the kitchen counter and opened the fridge. "Hungry?" I asked. Liam leaned against the wall, his eyes steady. "Always." I grabbed leftover pasta, heating it up, the smell of garlic and Parmesan filling the room. He set out 2 plates. "So," he said, his voice light but careful, "what now?" I shrugged, scooping pasta onto his plate. "Maybe sleep. Maybe a job. Something where I'm not wiping anyone's mouth." He smirked. "Ever thought about writing?" I raised an eyebrow. "Writing?" He nodded. "You've got a story, Emma. People want to hear it." I shook my head, handing him a fork. "I don't want to be the girl with the lying mom." He took a bite, chewing thoughtfully. "You're more than that." The microwave hummed, and I slid my plate in. "I just want something simple," I said. "My own life." He nodded, his voice quiet. "You deserve that." After dinner, I drove to the storage unit I'd rented in North Portland. The air inside was cold, stale, the metal door creaking as I opened it. On the top shelf sat the locked box, right where I'd left it. I opened it, staring at the flash drives, the original, the backup, Liam's copy. The note was there too, Mom's last words: "You win, but you've always been the kind of girl who needs an audience." I didn't cry, didn't feel much of anything. I closed the box, locked it, and slid it back into place. Outside, the sky was turning pink, the sunset bleeding across the city. My phone buzzed. Sophie, her text sharp. "Another article, Emma. Happy now?" I stared at it, then deleted it without replying. She'd chosen her side. I walked to a bookstore on Hawthorne Street, a help wanted sign taped to the window. Inside, I asked for an application, the manager's smile warm, normal. Filling it out felt strange, like stepping into someone else's life. When I got back to Liam's, he was on the couch, scrolling his phone. "Get the job?" he asked. I shrugged. "Not sure yet." He grinned. "You'll do great." That night, I sat on his balcony, a blanket around my shoulders, the city lights blinking below. The air smelled of rain and possibility. I thought about the storage unit, the box, the truth locked inside. I didn't need to carry it anymore. I'd done what I had to in the window, let the smoke out. The world knew Nancy Carter's lies, and I was done explaining. My life was mine now, not borrowed, not stolen. I sipped my tea, the warmth spreading through me. For the first time in years, I felt light, like I could finally choose what came next. And whatever it was, it would be simple. It would be mine. The next morning, my phone buzzed while I was still in bed at Liam's apartment, the Pearl District quiet outside. It was Olivia, her voice steady, composed. "I'm meeting with a lawyer today," she said. "We're pushing for fraud charges, maybe emotional abuse, against Mom and Rachel." I sat up, rubbing sleep from my eyes. "You're serious?" She paused. "She used us, Emma. Made me pay for things she didn't need. Made me feel guilty for not being there." I leaned against the headboard. "Now you really believe me?" She sighed. "I should have seen it sooner. It was easier not to. I'm sorry." I nodded, though she couldn't see. "Thanks." I told her I wouldn't join the lawsuit. "I've done what I needed to," I said. She was quiet for a moment. "You started this, Emma. I'm not letting it fade." I didn't know how to respond, so I just listened, feeling the torch pass to someone else. After we hung up, I got dressed and walked to the bookstore on Hawthorne Street. The manager called me back for an interview, her voice warm through the phone. It felt small, ordinary, like a door cracking open to a life I could actually live. That evening, I sat on Liam's balcony, a blanket draped over my knees, a cup of tea steaming in my hands. The Portland skyline glittered, lights blinking like they were whispering secrets. Liam joined me, setting his mug down. "You look brighter," he said, his voice soft. I smiled faintly. "I feel empty, but the good kind. Like cleaning out an old closet." He nodded, his eyes crinkling. "Exactly." We watched the city in silence, the kind that didn't need filling. "How long you staying here?" he asked after a while. I sipped my tea. "Not forever. Just till I figure out what's next." He leaned back. "You've got time." I echoed him, the words solid. "I've got time." The next day, I went to the bookstore for the interview. The manager asked about my experience, my availability. I told her I was starting over, that I was good with people and loved books. She smiled, said she'd call soon. When I got back to Liam's, he was in the kitchen, making pancakes, the air thick with vanilla and butter. "How'd it go?" he asked, flipping one onto a plate. I sat at the counter. "Not sure yet. Felt good, though." He slid the plate to me. "You'll do fine." I watched the batter sizzle, the edges browning. "Do you think people can change?" I asked, my voice quiet. Liam turned off the stove, leaning on the counter. "Some can, some can't." I nodded, thinking of Mom, her lies, her tears at that press conference. "I think she wanted to," I said. "But it wasn't enough." He pushed the syrup toward me. "You've changed." I met his eyes. "I had to." He grinned, pouring syrup on his stack. "You didn't burn the house down, Emma. You just opened a window. Let the smoke out." I laughed, the sound surprising me. "Generous of you." We ate in silence, the good kind, forks clinking softly. The pancakes were warm, sweet, grounding. I thought about the storage unit, the locked box with the flash drives, Mom's note. I didn't need to open it again. The truth was out, and I was free. Not just from her, but from the guilt, the doubt, the years I'd lost. Life felt like mine again, no longer borrowed or stolen. I took a bite, the syrup lingering on my tongue. Liam looked at me, his smile easy. "Hungry?" I grinned back, my voice steady. starving. And just like that, the world felt simple. It felt like home.